discriminatory experiences. Many of them, including myself, who have faced ridicule, humiliation, and embarrassment while flying. However, our plus-size travel struggles start long before we even leave our homes, as there is little to no readily available information and resources for plus-size travelers.
The reason why there's no information available is because this whole fat acceptance movement is relatively new. The airlines haven't been able to adjust.
Each airline in the United States. As a plus-size traveler myself, I've encountered the difficulties trying to navigate each airline and find their policies. And sometimes there's no section of information or even a policy in place for plus-size customers. I myself have personally experienced discomfort and discrimination during flights, and I believe that air travel should be accessible and comfortable for everyone, regardless of their size or abilities.
So you want the whole airline to change to cater to your way of life.
Looks, negative comments, and someone has even refused to sit next to my partner while traveling on a plane.
So I guess you were too big to sit next to your partner, so now other people have to? Gee, that sounds fair. But I've heard stories of how you have a fat person sitting in a seat, and their side folds go over the middle armrest into the other person's seat. This woman, she talks about how she's being discriminated against and how it's her right, basically, to be able to travel in comfort. But what about me? I paid for a plane ticket. Why should I have to sit next to a fat person whose belly fat is spilling over into my seat? I paid for that ticket. What about my discomfort? Did you ever think about that? If I had to choose between sitting next to a fat person or a woman with a crying baby, I would rather sit next to the woman with the crying baby. Why? Because crying is what babies do. It's not intentional or anything, it's just they're babies. People who are fat, they chose to eat too much. They chose to be fat. And now they're demanding that the whole world change to suit them. But they can easily just eat less and lose weight. But they can't be bothered. Instead, they choose to say, I'm fat and proud. Accept me for who I am. Change for me. So yeah, apparently this woman, she wants other passengers to pay for her extra seat. How absurd is that? In order for me to travel, I have to scrimp and save. And now I have to worry about paying for some other person's seat because they chose to be gluttonous? Gee, thanks. Here's a thought. Rather than trying to force other people to pay for your seat, what if you founded your own airline? I mean, yeah, you'd need money, but there's enough woke people in the world, I'm pretty sure you'd be able to convince them to chip in. What's it called, GoFundMe or something? Give it a try. Anywho, back to the article. Now she's demanding larger hotel hallways, custom toilet seats, and stronger beds to help fat guests. Yeah, hotels aren't going to do that. In order for them to make the hallway larger, they'd have to cut into the rooms of said hotel in order to enlarge the hallway. And then people like you will complain that the rooms are too small. Irony. And as for the cost, well, the hotels would have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to remodel their hotel. And then, of course, the hotels would be out of action for months until the remodeling's done. So it would probably wind up costing the hotels hundreds of thousands, if not even millions of dollars to accommodate a minority group of people. And said minority of people could easily solve this predicament they're in if they just stop being so gluttonous. The only thing I see the hotels doing would be changing the toilets and the beds. That's about it. Because if a toilet cracks and breaks when one of their guests are trying to take a dump, then they have to worry about an injured guest and the room flooding. And of course, getting sued by said guest. Anyway, I just saw this article, and I just thought it was so asinine. She wants the whole world to change for her, and yet she could easily make one simple lifestyle change to solve all her problems, but no. Anyway, take care out there in Clown World.